Hey guys, how are we? Well, a little bit of a colder day here in Athens at the moment, and I thought that we might have been on our way out of winter. That's another week or so left on that, but yeah, so interesting times. Looks like different regions of Ukraine are being recognised by Russia in regards to independence, so that's going to cause a few problems. But I think really at the end of the day what we're seeing at the moment is the US trying to push for a conflict with Russia. I think they've wanted that for a long while, and the UK sort of goes along with it, and then Australia sort of puts its 2 cents worth in, and we all of a sudden have the coalition of the willing. And Australia has supported the US in every conflict it's had since World War II, purely because Australia is heavily reliant on its shipping lanes, and it needs freedom of navigation within those lanes because it's an island nation. There's no way to get imports in and out without that. So the US used to be the strongest navy in the world, and used to back up that freedom of navigation. But now China seems to have taken that place, particularly in the last 18 months. So anyway, interesting, and I think that's why we're sort of seeing China doing incursions into Australia's economic zone, and shining military-grade lasers onto their reconnaissance planes. So interesting time. So I think this will be my hit prediction. I think as this narrative with the pandemic recedes, loses its luster, I think we're going to see some sort of global conflict take shape. So I think the first thing that you'll see is Russia being drawn into a conflict with the West, particularly NATO and the UK, etc. And then I think you'll see China sort of take that opportunity to take over Taiwan. They're talking about the one China policy, and I don't think there's any sort of credence for that, any historical legitimacy for that claim. But I know that at the moment there's a lot of sound in Australia in regards to politicians who have been in the pocket of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, and that is very worrisome. So whether it be Sam Dastyardi or a few of these other Labor Party politicians, even the coalition in Australia, but I think even in Canada, you see a large amount of politicians with questionable reputations and actions. So right across the Western world, there's been a lot of influence from China, put it that way. But I think what we're going to see is some sort of conflict, because I think at the end of the day what they want to do is cause some sort of conflict to reset the global economy. That's just my assumption. I've got no proof of that, but it looks like that's where it's going, particularly from a historical standpoint. So very, very interesting. So watch this space. Not a good position at the moment, particularly with the global economy, and I think even with the increase of oil prices, cost per barrel, the global economy can't really suffer that sort of shock. And next month they're talking about increasing the interest rates in the US. I think what you will see is a lot of oh, that bike is running rich. My goodness, I wouldn't be riding that bike. Whew. Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of mortgages under pressure, so keep an eye on that. Feel sorry for a lot of these people because they put a lot of sacrifice into buying property, paying off a mortgage, and a lot of them will struggle and fail at this. So anyway, I think, as I said before, the West is in decline. I did make a comment before on Facebook, which I normally don't. I don't engage in things, but I was sort of saying on that the US really hasn't had a decisive victory since World War II, and even that's questionable. So interesting times ahead. As I said, you want to stay safe. I think you want to certainly have a plan A, B, C, and D ready to go to relocate. I think if you're sort of got the mindset that you're going to dig in and see this thing through, I think you might be in a bit of a shock, because I don't think a lot of people comprehend where this is all going. And as I said, now that the narrative around the pandemic is starting to dissolve, you've got major economic woes, and the next thing that you'll want is a bit of a conflict, and particularly with Biden and his failing presidency. And I think that's going to get worse and worse for him. So I think there's a growing sort of question as to his mental capacity, and so there's certainly people behind him that are pulling these strings. So anyway, interesting times. So as I said, hope for the best, plan for the worst. You want plan A, B, C, and D if possible. So yeah. All right, guys, going to leave that there. It's only a short video, but stay safe, keep abreast of this situation, because you want to have a flight case ready just in case things go really south. And I know, being here in the northern hemisphere in Europe, things could get pretty hairy pretty quickly, and even the cost of flights will probably go up now that we're seeing the price of petrol go through the roof. So keep an eye on that. All right, guys,